Diversity is such a hassle for leaders who just want to get on with the job. We're going to talk about the real reason why some of them are so frustrated. I'm Dr. Jonathan. I work with organizations to make them inclusive, and I'm on a mission to help 1 million people like you to make your workplace inclusive. Get your pen and paper ready because we're talking about a reason why leaders get so frustrated about diversity hiring that doesn't get discussed. I recently appeared on a podcast and the host asked me a question about diversity. They explained that members of their audience had a frustration about diversity. They didn't say this, but they implied that it's something that's forced on them, something they have to deal with, something that doesn't always feel fair. You've heard the stories about people being forced to hire women, people being forced to hire so-called minority candidates, people being forced to hire other people from underrepresented groups. I've spoken to enough people to know that it feels like a hassle. It really does. But I also think many of these leaders would benefit from reconsidering their perspective. In many cases, all of this is explained by an endowment effect. Let me explain. When I was a PhD student, I used to teach on one of the best courses at the LSE. Seriously. Actually, I think it was the best course at the LSE. People would leave other courses to join ours. It was amazing, and it was all about negotiation. One thing we covered on that program was the endowment effect, and this was taken from a 1980 paper by Professor Richard Thaler. This is an economics paper, so he uses words like opportunity cost, loss aversion, consumer choice. I'm going to oversimplify with the example we used in the lectures. Suppose you had a mug. It's an LSE mug, and this costs £5 to buy in the LSE shop. In fact, it's freely available for anyone to buy in the LSE shop for £5. Here's a question for you. Knowing all of this, if I wanted to buy your mug, the specific LSE mug that you own, how much would you be willing to sell that to me for? According to the psychologists, according to the behavioural economists, you would want more than £5 for your mug, even though the market price for a brand new one is £5. Why is that? The answer is the endowment effect. The way we describe this on the course, people are not willing to part from what they have or what they own. People see more value in something they own as compared to something that they don't. Okay? So what's this got to do with inclusion? In practice, I've seen the endowment effect create a sense of entitlement to privilege. Now, this isn't a textbook way of thinking about it. There are economists who won't like this, but this isn't the element of economics. This is the element of inclusion. And I think this is really useful when applied to privilege. We've talked about privilege in the past. We've applied it to intersectional identity. Now let's apply it here. There's an endowment effect of privilege. Think of privilege as benefits and advantages. We're focused on unearned privileges. We're focused on benefits and advantages that people haven't earned. What I've noticed is when people have a problem with increasing representation, increasing diversity, they always tell me the same things. They fear the future. They think things aren't going to be fair. They think that things will get worse because the right people won't get the right jobs. Here's what they don't tell me. They're enjoying benefits that they're not entitled to. They're enjoying benefits they haven't earned. They're enjoying benefits that others do not enjoy. And here's the big one. They don't want to lose these benefits. What benefits am I talking about? Well, let's describe a few like this. Pretend this is you. People always assume you can do what you say you can do, even when it's not true. People always assume you're up to the task, even when you're not. If you make a mistake or things get tough, it's never because you're stupid, it's because they didn't support you enough. Let's do a couple more. You always get a fair shot. In fact, it's more than fair. You always get support before, during, and after any job opportunity. Now, there are people, a lot of people, who have no experience of what I just said. For some of you, what I said is normal. Some of you may even think I just made that up because there's no way that could be true. For our purposes, think of it as a benefit if it's not widely available. Let's pretend you're a hiring manager who enjoys all the benefits I just said. If the endowment effect is true, they may be reluctant to change. What did I say earlier? People are not willing to part from what they have. Leaders may not want to part with their privilege. What else did we say? People see more value in something they own as compared to something that they don't. It is possible that some hiring managers see more value in their opportunities than the opportunities of others. We can also flip this the other way. Any initiatives that are increasing benefits for people who previously didn't have them have the same effect. Remember, for our purposes, it's a benefit if it's not widely available. If it's widely available, then it's not a benefit. Let's use the LSE mug as an example. Remember, you own it, it's worth £5. Let's say you didn't buy it. It's still valuable to you because you own it, but what if everyone was given a mug just like yours? It's worth £5, but everyone is given the same mug. Does your mug still feel special? As always, I want you to make your own mind up, but be aware of the benefits, the advantages, the privilege that you enjoy personally, and those who have power where you work. You can use all of this to check to see if the endowment effect is harming your efforts to have an inclusive workplace. So let's wrap this up. What are the key messages here? 1. Diversity efforts can remind people of the unearned privileges they enjoy. 2. Diversity efforts may reduce or remove the unearned privileges that people have. And 3. The endowment effect suggests that people are unwilling to part with what they already have. So what do you think? Have you experienced the endowment effect where you work? Get in touch or leave a message. I would love to hear from you. If you've learned something from today's show, then give us a 5-star review and a comment wherever you're listening to the podcast. It helps other people like you to find the show. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.